All right, Tim. Thank you so much for joining me once again. This episode is going to be really fun because today's Whitesnake, the Purple album. So you have the original cover there. This
Yep.
is the special gold edition that was reissued in 2023. This celebrated like the 50th anniversary. There you go. The
Yeah.
50th anniversary of David joining Deep Purple. So he joined Deep Purple in 73, obviously. And the first album with him, Burn, was released in 74, obviously. This album has a lot of nice, good songs from that period, from the three albums, Burn, Stormbringer, and Come Taste the Band. And I think the track listing is pretty good on this. Now, your track listing is going to be different to mine in the
Yeah.
order, if you look at the original, of course. But I think the vinyl, the remix vinyl, should be the same as the CD.
I think
So,
so. Yeah. I was just looking at it and just making sure all the songs were the same because they are way out of order than what I'm used to.
yeah. So you're used to the original CD?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Should we go with that track listing? So you read it off, or should we go with the new track
Well, I
listing?
think we should go with what came first.
Yeah.
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 Um, and as far as this album goes, I was very excited when I found out that Coverdale was doing this because I thought, yeah, what a great idea. Because I love Deep Purple, but like a lot of the songs from Coverdale's era, when people think of Deep Purple, they're not thinking of, for the most part, the average listener isn't thinking of Coverdale's era. They're thinking of Mark II or maybe Hush even. Um, and Coverdale's era was so short lived, but there were three albums, and when you go back and listen to them, if you're not used to listening to, if you got into Whitesnake, say with the '87 album, and you kind of followed it ever since, anything before that is going to sound, I don't want to say dated, but you're gonna know it's from an older period. So I thought, yeah, what a great chance to update some great songs and bring them back, into the forefront. So I was really excited for this. I pre-ordered this just the second it became available to do that. So yeah, this is the original CD. It came with a DVD too, with the making of the album. It had a couple videos on it, and this album started off life, I guess, like this pretty extensive liner notes written by Coverdale. He reached out to Richie Blackmore, who, of course, Richie, he's very reclusive. He does his Blackmore's Night, and that's he's not really interested in doing harder rock, although around this time he resurrected Rainbow very briefly, but basically to talk about the loss of John Lord, who had passed away in 2012, because that was such a major loss to rock in general. And originally this was going to be David and Richie revisiting songs from Burn and Stormbringer and maybe even Rainbow, but that didn't happen. So what did happen is that it was decided to because David had already started working on some arrangements, that it would come out as a Whitesnake album. I'm so glad it did, because at this point in time when this came out, I didn't have all of the Deep Purple albums, because it's such a massive catalog. And the only one of Coverdale's three albums I had was Burn. So I wasn't familiar with Stormbringer that much, and I wasn't familiar with Come Taste the Band at all. So this was, I found that after I listened to these, I definitely made a point to get the other two albums and really listen to those hard. But I love the versions of the songs on here.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about this album. There are some that absolutely hate it. I know Peter Kerr from Rock Day Dream
Yeah.
Nation. He doesn't like this at
No.
all.
Yeah.
I like it. I listened to it earlier today, and I have to say, like, I do really enjoy these renditions of these songs.
Yeah.
I think some work better than others, but I think for the most part, they are good to very good. So yeah, I think there's some awesome stuff on this, and I think they did a good job. Now we have to mention this is the first album that Joel Hoekstra appears on for
Mhm.
Whitesnake. So the last album that we talked about, Forevermore, in 2011, that had Doug Aldrich and Red Beach. Now you have Red Beach and Joel Hoekstra. And Joel is also on the last album, Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
And that was also the lineup that I saw on the farewell tour. They also added the new bass player, Tony O'Callaghan, on the farewell tour. But yeah, so Michael Devin was out of the band. I think, was it after Flesh and Blood or something like that? Or was it after this one? I can't remember.
No, it was because when I saw them in 2018, Michael Devin was still in the band. I think when I saw them in 2018, it was the lineup that's on this album.
Yeah, so it's probably after the Flesh and Blood album then. But yeah. So I think the playing here is really solid. I think like the solo on Burn especially is like extended a bit, and I really do enjoy that. And there's a lot more like shredding or very like flashy playing on this compared to like the originals with Richie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do really like that these songs now really sound like Whitesnake songs. If you didn't know about Deep Purple before, this sounds like a new Whitesnake album, and that's really cool. And something really interesting that I saw, Phil Aston from Now Spinning Magazine, great channel. He did a video of this particular version when it got released in 2023. And he said, like, he had a great point. Like, if this album was released today, and nobody knew about the original Deep Purple song, they didn't exist, this was brand new material, most people would probably say that this is one of the best of the later period Whitesnake stuff. This is just really, really good.
Yeah.
So I think most people, it's so hard not to compare it to the original, obviously. But I think some people just can't let that go. I can. So I can listen to this and like this. I can see these as Whitesnake songs.
Oh yeah.
For some people, that's gonna be very hard to like grip, but because they are so familiar with those originals, and nothing on here replaces the originals in any way. I don't even think any of them are better. So they're really good, some of them, but not better, in my opinion, at least. So I think it's just solid.
Yeah, one song on here I think is better, but we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Hear it right now, Tim.
Well, the song that and oddly enough, on the original version, it was one of the 2 bonus tracks, so it wasn't on the standard one. But I absolutely love the arrangement for "Coming Home." Like, to me, that's a brand new song. I like the version on "Come Taste the Band." It's recognizable, but the twin lead guitar that goes in, they came up with this Thin Lizzy type twin lead. I just think it's a really cool, really melodic song. Yeah, my good friend Peter Kerr, we've had many a conversation. Peter's a huge Deep Purple fan and a huge Whitesnake fan, and he does not like this album. This was never meant to replace the originals. And it's a pretty unique situation when you think about it, because is it a covers album? I don't know. Is it a remakes album? It's somewhere in between, because Coverdale was involved with both. But yeah, I mean, no disrespect to the other albums which we've talked about, this is definitely the modern Whitesnake album I've listened to the most. And most of these songs, I'd say about half of them I'm more familiar with these versions, just because I've listened to it more than the original versions, other than the songs from Burn, which actually there's more songs from Burn than any other album on here. But I think they made some great choices on here. And yeah, you're absolutely right. This could have been presented as a new Whitesnake album. And, you know, unless somebody really combed the credits, like, boy, there's a lot of Richie Blackmore writing credits on here, and John Lord and Ian Pace, and what's going on with this? But totally reinvented. And some of the songs are fairly standard in their, they learned it, they played it, and some are completely transformed. I think that "Coming Home," though, that it's my favorite. It's my favorite of the entire package. And that's one thing I noticed with the reissue. There are no bonus tracks. They've flipped the order of the songs, and there are no bonus tracks. They're all there. One thing that, and you probably noticed this, is one thing that was added as far as a dedication with one of the songs, because the time had passed, and Jeff Beck had passed away. So that's why You Fool No One was dedicated to the memory of Jeff Beck, who passed away, I think, in early 2023.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that when you read the liner notes, David wanted Jeff Beck, when Blackmore left. I can't imagine a Deep Purple with Jeff Beck. I don't think that would have, it wouldn't have lasted. Let's put it that way. I don't think it would have lasted very long, because I think Tommy Bolin would have lasted at least another album if he hadn't, abused himself so badly, because he died way too young. But that's my thoughts on it. I just look at it as practically a new Whitesnake album, and some of the songs I really like what they did with them. And like I said, it got me listening to the earlier versions, and I like them both. I love the fact that we have both versions to compare. This is certainly not the first time that Coverdale's taken material from his past and reinvented it, but to make it into a project like this and say, okay, this is going to be all material from my Purple days. And I'm also kind of glad that that this wasn't the project with Ritchie Blackmore, because then we wouldn't have had any Come Taste the Band material.
Very true, very true. So yeah, as you said, we wouldn't have any Come Taste the Band material, because I just love this version of You Keep On Moving. I love the original. I love that song. I love the This Time Around, O2G. That's not on here, but those type of songs on Come Taste the Band, I just love those.
Yeah.
But this You Keep On Moving, this version is amazing. I love hearing this with David's more mature, older voice. It's amazing. And Coming Home, as you said, really good too. But I do prefer the original. But I have to say my absolute favorite on this is the Gypsy. I think this version,
love that. That's one of my favorites. I love the version of that on here. Yeah.
This version is amazing. And the original riff is great on Stormbringer, but it's so thick here. It's like amazing. And I love also that they added this vocal part where they sing, Tell Me Gypsy, Tell Me Gypsy. Like, I love that. I love that. And then I go back to listen to the original and it's not there, and I kind of miss it.
You're waiting for it. Yeah,
exactly. So I do really, really like that. Now, Burn, obviously amazing original song, and the version here is great too. I do really like it. I have to say, one song that doesn't really work that well for me is Holy Man. I love the original Stormbringer, but I think this version is it's missing something. I thought that the funkiness and the groove of the original was so nice, and I feel that's kind of missing on this version.
Well, it's missing Glenn Hughes. I mean, that's Glenn's song. So it was. I remember when I went back and listened, I'm like, okay, Glenn sang this, the whole thing.
Yep.
I don't mind it. It's not one of my favorites, but yeah, I can see what you mean. It's definitely it's an interesting choice. You'd think that he would have picked another song that he sang, but maybe he always liked that one and said, I'll have a go at that. But yeah, obviously too, we have to talk about, you've got Coverdale's advancing years and what that does. But as far as on this album, I think he sounds great. They've lowered a lot of keys, obviously, but I think in some cases, there's one case in particular, I think that the lowered key sounds better anyway. And it's the one song on here that I think more than any other sounds like it could have been a new Whitesnake song and nobody would have blinked an eye. And that's Love Child. Like, to me, that's a Whitesnake song.
Yep. I thought actually the same thing. I think it was You Fool No One. I just really liked this version. It's very long. And I thought this sounded very like Whitesnake type. So yeah, I did really like that version of that song. But I have to say, like, Mistreated, I just love the original Mistreated. I love the Rainbow with Ronnie James Dio. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
The Live in Munich version is amazing. But this one, I don't feel this one works as well as both of those.
No, I'd agree with that.
The Ronnie James Dio is from Another Planet. The original with David on Burn is very good. I like that. But it doesn't really work that well for me on this one. I'm sorry, but I don't like Mistreated that much on the Purple album. So what do you think?
It's not one of my favorites, and I mean, I know that that song means a lot to Coverdale. Obviously, it's one of the songs that he did in Whitesnake. Like he kept on doing it, and it just became like a favorite. Yeah, and obviously, Blackmore liked it too. So, and I like the song a lot. Like I love the original version, but you really couldn't have done something like this without Mistreated. But it's almost like it's I don't know. It's kind of compared to what they did with a lot of the other arrangements, it's a little plain and it's a little expected. Like you kind of know what it's going to sound like before you heard it. So nothing was added to it, I don't think.
On a more positive note, I think Stormbringer is great on this. I love it. I think it's really, really good. Yeah, very energetic as the original is. And I think David sounds great on this. I love the guitar playing. The rhythm playing on this is really, really good. So yeah, but I do also like the acoustic version of Sail Away.
Oh,
I
fantastic.
do really, really like this.
Fantastic. Yeah.
The original has a great groove. This doesn't, because this is an acoustic performance with David. And I think this works very well. Even though it's very different to the original, I do really like this version. It's very good.
Yeah, and in another time, this could have been a single, a radio single. I mean, it's just a beautiful arrangement of it. It's the middle section is titled "Elegy for John." It's dedicated to John Lord, and it's completely different than the original version. As a matter of fact, I remember like I'd listened to Burn, but I hadn't listened to it that much. So then when I did listen to it and heard the original, I'm like, wow, like it's almost a different song. And I like this version better. I think it works better lyrically. I think it works better as an acoustic ballad. Again, I love the fact that we have both versions that we can compare. But and you're right about Stormbringer. I think Stormbringer and Burn and You Fool No One, those were heavy songs for 1974. Now they sound heavy with the updated
in the
production.
beginning in You Fool No One is really heavy on this version.
Yeah.
It's like chugging almost. It's really, really nice.
Oh yeah, just
yeah.
And I like that, and I like the like I like that those parts. Like, it's just it's really, really, driving.
Yeah. Another thing about Sail Away, I think it's, as I said, it's very different, because in the original you have these like the organ or keyboard that John Lord plays. Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
Really strange sound. And then you have like the bass. I just love that in the original. So I like that they took it in a whole different direction in this. And as you said, for you, it works better. And I think it works great as an acoustic. So yeah. Great song.
Very smart, and I don't know how many other songs of those three albums that he could have done that with and gotten away with it, because lyrically it kind of fits this acoustic treatment more, because it's it kind of reminds. I mean, I can't help but be reminded of Sailing Ships from Slip of the Tongue, which is, as far as the verses go, is probably the most traditional Whitesnake sounding song on that album. So it's it just works. It just works. I mean, I like the original. It's funky. It's it's just cool. But I like the decisions that were made here. I think there were a lot of smart arranging decisions, because it would have been so easy to just, all right, guys, learn the songs, let's do them. But no, they really, you can tell that there's extra parts, there's extra bars added. The intros are different. The some songs like come to a stop instead of fading out. Yeah, just. It sounds, I can hear the work that went into this, and it just makes for, to me, it makes for a pleasing listen.
Yeah, and I know that the other members of the band were very enthusiastic about this. They loved playing these old songs, having an excuse to play this with David. Like that was amazing for them, and you can see it on the like interview on the Blu-ray, and I think on the DVD that you have, they talk about it, and so they absolutely loved it. But Soldier of Fortune, I love this version. I think, as I said about Sail Away, this more mature, older voice of David's fits so well on these types of songs. And I think I love his delivery on this. There's also like a version with the Hook City strings that they call it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good too. But I like the version on here on the album. And yeah, the original of this is really beautiful. A great song. But I really like it here too. So I almost like both versions like equally, both the original and this one. I think they're great. What do you
Let's
think
not
about?
let's not forget Starkers in Tokyo with Adrian Vandenberg.
Oh,
I
that's
really like
very good.
that. I really like that version too, because it just sounds like that sounds like how the song would have been written. Just one voice and an acoustic guitar. But yeah, I mean, they didn't really do much with the arrangement, but they just really it's really played and sung very well. And yeah, these songs do benefit from David's, being that much older and that much more life experience. I mean, when he joined Deep Purple, he was 22, 23, and he was almost writing lyrics that were like more suited for somebody much older than he was at the time. But now it's like he's grown into his own song.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we've gone through most of it. So is there any other song that you want to highlight?
Well, there's one other song that I think that there's, it's just a little production thing that it was on the original that I didn't think needed to be. And the remake doesn't have it, and that's Lady Double Dealer. It's a great song on Stormbringer, but you don't have that echo like that, Lady Double Dealer, dealer, get out of my way, way. It's almost like we talked about Def Leppard, It Could Be You from On Through the Night. It could be you, like a little bit of echo on the voice goes a long way. So I like the fact that you've got a cleaner sounding chorus on Lady Double Dealer.
Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else on here that I want to highlight. So I think that was basically all of it. So yeah, overall, what do you think of the album in general?
I love it. It's it sounds like it's putting down the other newer albums to say it, but this is my favorite of all of from everything from Good to Be Bad on. This is the album I listen to the most. I love the
Wow.
arrangements of most of these songs. I like the other albums too, but I was so excited about the idea of these songs getting a new life. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that what it did for me is it made me more determined. It's like, okay, well, I've got to get Stormbringer, I've got to get Come Taste the Band and get those albums, into memory, and which I did. So it's again never meant to replace the originals. I think a lot of people, I would like to think that people heard this and thought, wow, these are really great songs. I knew David Coverdale was in Deep Purple, but I've never checked it out. Maybe I will now.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't really agree with what you said about this being better than like the Forevermore and Good to Be Bad and maybe Flesh and Blood, because I'm not that huge of a fan of that album. But because I prefer to listen to new material, and this being like re-recorded old things, yeah, it's kind of more of a novelty for me. It's good to listen to once in a while, and I really enjoyed it listening to it today. And as I said, there are some really great renditions of the songs here. But I rather listen to the originals because those are legendary. I love those. I love having Richie and Glenn Hughes on vocals and everything. I just love that band in particular. So yeah, I would rather go with those, the originals, and I think most people would agree with
Oh
that.
yeah, you're absolutely right.
You really like this.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
You're absolutely right. I mean, other than Burn, which 6 of the 8 songs on Burn are on here. It's really heavy on Burn, which kind of makes sense. That's the most successful of those albums.
Yeah.
But that left 9 songs, and other than Stormbringer, the song, I really wasn't as familiar. So a lot of these songs sounded quite fresh to my ears. So maybe that has something to do with it too. But like I said, I went back. I'd always been, I got into Deep Purple via Whitesnake, but I always was a bigger Whitesnake fan. So this made me determine, like, okay, I got to fill in this Deep Purple collection. So it's a unique I'm trying to think of another album like this, and I can't think of one exactly. There's lots of covers albums and there's
Yeah.
remakes albums, but it's usually the band remaking themselves, and maybe there's a different lineup change. But because Coverdale was in a member of these two landmark bands, he's able to do this and present it under his, I mean, I suppose Blackmore could have done that. He could have done a Rainbow album completely remaking a bunch of Purple songs, and there's nothing anyone could have done about it. But I don't know. I was excited about it, and it didn't let me down when I finally got to hear it.
All right. If you were to give it a rating, what would you give the Purple album?
Well, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I mean, I really like it a lot. 10 might be overstating the fact that I like it a lot, but because it's not all, there's moments, but man, Burn and The Gypsy and Coming Home and like, oh, they're so good. So yeah, I think I'll give it a 9. I really stand behind this album, and I know that that's like a lot of people, like Peter, he like think it's just sacrilege. But I'm more in Phil's camp, because yeah, if this was presented, if you didn't know anything, if Deep Purple had been an underground band and Coverdale just happened to be a member, most people would have thought, wow, the new Whitesnake album's really good. I don't know why they called it the Purple album, but I like it.
Yeah, I would probably give it like 7.5, maybe an 8 if I'm generous.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty good. So yeah, really cool album. Kind of a novelty album for me, but cool to listen to once in a while. So yeah, it was cool to revisit this one. So
Yeah.